The 22nd Amendment to the United States Constitution. Section 1. No person shall be elected to the President of the United States more than twice, and no person who has held the office of President or has acted as President for more than 2 years a term to which some other person was elected President shall be elected President to the office of the President more than once. Again, that's the text from the 22nd Amendment to the United States Constitution. Unfortunately, right now, we have people who want to destroy that amendment. Donald Trump and his advisors are doing everything they can to make Donald Trump president for life. And reminiscent of banana republics and autocratic dictatorships. It's actually happening. As the 2026 midterms approach, Donald Trump, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth are building coalitions for something no one thought would be possible in the United States. A Trump-led coup against our own Constitution. I'm going to give you some examples as to how and why this is happening. Inside the Pentagon, Secretary of War Hegseth is tearing apart the legal guardrails that have kept the U.S. military accountable for generations. The senior military lawyers, the Judge Advocate Generals, or JAGs, are being pushed out. Now, I did a video about this some months ago, earlier this year, and you're welcome to actually watch it again and understand why he's doing it. But to remind everyone out there, these are the people who tell commanders when an order is illegal. Make no mistake about this. The orders that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are going to give will be illegal. How they've already given illegal orders when they occupy cities under some kind of guise of protecting American citizens from a crime wave. But make no mistake about this. These JAG officers are the last internal barrier between our constitutional freedoms and a president who sees the armed forces as nothing more than his own personal hit squad. When they're finished, when they're gone, there's no one left to say no, to advise our commanders in the field that those orders that the Commander-in-Chief and the Secretary of War have given will be illegal, in violation of not only the Constitution, but the UCMJ, that is, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. At the Department of Homeland Security, helmed by the dog killer, Kristi Noem, Donald Trump has installed election denier activists in key roles. The New York Times reports that Heather Honey, a former private investigator who helped spread false fraud claims about the 2020 election, suggested that the president could declare a national emergency in 2026, the midterms, to federalize elections, taking power away from the state officials who actually run them. Voters' rights groups called it exactly what it is: a federal strategy to control elections and rig our democracy. When you look at these two efforts, control over the elections and control over the military, and a picture is beginning to form. It's not a pretty one. One arm consolidates political power. The other dismantles the institutions that could resist it. Not too long ago, Steve Bannon, whom I like to call the Fat Walrus, has already made screams openly talking about Trump having a third term and boasting there is a plan in place to make it all happen. Now, whether this all bluster to take attention away from the Epstein files or Trump's failing presidency, or a blueprint for a president for life. A movement, the danger in itself is all the same. A movement testing how far it could push the boundaries of law and loyalty. This is how constitutional republics slide, slowly, legally, one rationalization after a time. Replace the watchdogs, rewrite the rules, rebrand power grabs as reforms. And by the time the public is waking up, the guardrails are gone. Trump has openly said he wants generals who show him total loyalty. He said that. And Pete Hegseth, the drunken white supremacist racist prick that he is making it happen. The military's independence, the very idea that no president can use the armed forces as his personal army, is being dismantled piece by piece. And if we don't say it out loud, if we don't speak out about this, if we do not challenge Trump, Hegseth, Noam, and the rest of them, it may be too late to speak out and do anything about it. I'm going to make something very clear. And I'm not making any threats here. I'm not encouraging violence. I'm not saying that we need to get violent. I already know personally that Donald Trump supporters are going to twist everything that I just said in this video like they always have and probably always will, to say that I'm calling for violence against the United States government. I am not. But this is what I'm going to say. Our freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States are too important to let a madman like Donald Trump, and supported by other madmen like Pete Hegseth, J.D. Vance, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, Stephen Bannon, and the rest of them, to let them all be destroyed. I'm going to make this clear to you. And if you want to take this as a threat, then so be it. But I'm not your problem and I'm not the enemy. At no point have I ever called for violence. And this isn't a call for violence. But if you think, Donald Trump and the rest of you, that you're going to take our freedoms away just so you can stay in power just the way you did in 2020, 2021, January 6th, if you think we're going to sit back and do nothing about it, you have got another thing coming. This nation has a great and powerful and long history of resistance to tyranny dating back to the Revolutionary War, to the Civil War. to World War I and World War II, to the Civil Rights Movement, to the present day. And if you think just because you're Donald Trump and most of everybody thinks of you as a god, that we won't fight back if you decide to ring that bell and come after our freedoms, think again. Don't let the idea that just because you have millions of followers out there, that we're going to sit back and let you take our freedoms away without a fight. Trump wants to be president for life, violating the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution. But the truth of the matter is, I don't expect them to live that long. I don't expect them to live during this term right now. If he makes it to the last day of this term in 2028, and when he leaves office of January of 2029, it will be a minor miracle. The man is not well, physically or mentally. And I don't need to be a doctor to see that. Most of you know that I suffered a stroke earlier this year. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm working out, I'm walking, and I have most of my life back together. And despite my stroke, compared to Donald Trump, I'm a picture of health compared to him. You see, what really is scaring a lot of people, and what's scaring me especially, is this image of delusion that they've created for themselves, saying that Donald Trump is all powerful. Steve Bannon earlier this week, when he was talking of Donald Trump's third term, said he was there for a divine reason, divine providence. None of that is true. I'm going to finish this video this way. The Constitution to our United States of America is the bedrock of our constitutional republic. Screw with that. I dare you, Trump. Screw with that, and you are going to have a fight on your hands, a fight you are not going to win. I don't care how many ICE officers you think you have on the streets. I don't care how many soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, armed forces, members of the armed forces you think you have in your pocket. Because we're seeing the divisions in the military continue to grow after that laughable speech in Virginia. In the end of the day, in the final analysis, there is more of us, Americans who believe in our Constitution, than there are Americans who are true believers of Donald Trump. Make no mistake about that. This is not a fight you want, because you will lose. We have God, country, and the Constitution on our side. All you have is an egotistical yellow billionaire who thinks he's God on yours. Which one will win? I put my money on the Constitution. I put my money on my country, not on Donald Trump. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.